The Israeli Defense Force claims to have found a secret Hamas tunnel.
There's just tight spaces like this in certain parts of this tunnel.
And how they found it. Super Bowl 58 is approaching.
It was awesome. Instant classic for sure.
And how it's looking to be one of the most expensive Super Bowls ever. And a young girl set to represent her home of Canada.
I found out I was really good at BMX.
In the BMX World Championship. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Kenneth Bueno.
I'm Aisha Ambrister. Today is Tuesday, January 30th, 2024.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
The 3 U.S. soldiers killed in a drone strike in Jordan have been identified. Americans are mourning the loss of those 3 soldiers in a drone attack on a U.S. outpost.
Those victims are Sergeant William Rivers, Specialist Brianna Moffett, and Specialist Kennedy Sanders.
For service and the commitment and the sacrifice she made for the country.
I FaceTimed Kennedy twice, tried to text her and call her, of course with no answer.
Camera 3.
The 3 were assigned to the 718th Engineer Company, a U.S. Army Reserve unit based out of Fort Moore in Georgia. Another 40 victims were injured during the attack. The Pentagon attributes the attack to Iran-backed militants, prompting vows of retaliation from the President and Secretary of Defense.
The IDF invited Jeremy Diamond to what they say was a Hamas tunnel underneath the Gaza cemetery and then refused to show him exactly where the tunnel entrance was in the crater, which was once a graveyard.
Our journey to investigate the Israeli military's claims begins in the rubble of what they say was a residential building.
Let us know when,
and this is the way that we go in to what they say is an extensive tunnel system in Bani Suhaila.
We descend into a dark, seemingly endless labyrinth. There's just tight spaces like this in certain parts of this tunnel. But then you get here and you have full headspace pretty much. All throughout it, you can see that there's electricity, there's telecommunications. The Israeli military says that this tunnel system actually leads to a Hamas command center, which they say was used by Hamas fighters to coordinate their attacks. The Israeli military says this is that command center. Multiple rooms equipped with plumbing and electricity. The Israeli military later provided this drone footage, showing the tunnel shaft we entered and another one nearby. CNN geolocated the footage using this satellite image. This outline shows where the cemetery once stood, and these are the 2 tunnel entrances, clearly outside the graveyard. As for the tunnel they say they found here, where the cemetery once stood, the military never provided any evidence. Jeremy Diamond, CNN, Bani Suhaila, Gaza.
A tragic update to the Central Florida shooting. We now know that a priest is among the 3 people who died. On Sunday, a 24-year-old opened fire on police after they responded to a call at a party near Orlando. The man injured 2 officers and killed his grandfather. Police then found 2 more victims who were identified as Father Robert Hoffner and his sister in the man's car. Authorities say both officers are recovering at a nearby hospital.
The man who stole and leaked the tax records of former President Donald Trump and other prominent people gets 5 years in prison. Charles Littlejohn pleaded guilty to a single count of unauthorized disclosures of income tax returns in October. Littlejohn took the financial data, which was then leaked to 2 news outlets before it was deleted from his IRS laptop. His 5-year sentence was the maximum penalty.
We now know the teams headed to the Super Bowl. 58, the Kansas City Chiefs will take on the San Francisco 49ers in Las Vegas on Sunday, February 11th. As CNN's Jen Sullivan reports, this year's big game is already proving to be one of the most expensive.
Super Bowl 58 is set. The San Francisco 49ers taking on defending Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs.
At the end of the day, we want to compete. We want to go out there and win.
49er fans ecstatic following Sunday's nail-biter win over the Detroit Lions.
It was incredible. I got a little nervous in the first half.
It was awesome. Instant classic for sure.
Fan enthusiasm soaring, and so are ticket prices. As of Monday morning, the get-in price was $8,188, which is 51% more expensive than the get-in price for the Super Bowl this time last year. According to StubHub, the most expensive ticket listed is more than $85,000 and includes a VIP package. With the Super Bowl being hosted in Las Vegas, that too could drive up prices since it's a major tourist destination. And there's no denying that Taylor Swift's presence at this year's big game will also impact the prices as she cheers on her boyfriend, Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce.
You gotta fight for your right to fight!
The singer has already helped break NFL viewership records. Last week's playoff game between the Chiefs and the Bills was the most watched divisional playoff game in history. Airlines are also seizing on the hype. American Airlines and United both adding special flights between Kansas City and Las Vegas with special flight numbers like 1989, a nod to the year Swift was born and her most popular album. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Thousands of people today struggle with emotional eating. This habit can be triggered by sadness or stress. Caplin News reporter Paula Silva has more on the story.
The cravings can come when you're sad or stressed. You want something salty or maybe something sweet. The food can bring comfort, but also extra calories.
Emotional eating tends to be very specific. You are hungry for cookies. You are not hungry for anything that somebody would put in front of you.
Psychologist Leslie Heimberg with Cleveland Clinic says when people try to eat feelings away, it's only a temporary fix.
The problem is still there, but people might feel guilty or feel bad about how much they ate or what they ate.
Heimberg says true hunger doesn't go away. It gets worse over time. If you suspect emotional eating, she says to distract yourself for 20 minutes. Take a shower, go for a walk, or do any activity that won't allow you to eat.
If you're still hungry at the end of that 20 minutes, then maybe, identify a healthier snack. But for lots of people, what they find is if they can distract themselves, 20 minutes later, that craving has really passed.
And if you do end up eating, enjoy it. Eating just a small amount of the food you desire may eliminate the craving. She says not to beat yourself up about it.
Don't try to make up for it by skipping dinner and then setting yourself to be hungry and irritable later.
Heimberg says it's helpful to have healthy snacks on hand that are easy to turn to when you do face a feeling that triggers a craving for comfort food. For Caplin News, I'm Paula Silva.
The Suns turn down the heat as Miami drops a 7th straight game.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
I found out I was really good at BMX and I wanted to do that until I was really old.
A world championship journey for a rising star in BMX at only 9 years old. Stick around, Newsbreak will be back in just 2 minutes.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Bill is a family man. He invests his money wisely and provides a good life for his children. Just one problem. He often opens emails from senders he doesn't know, and his computer is not password protected. One day, Bill checked his bank account and 94% of malware attacks originate from emails. Don't be like Bill. Take your cybersecurity seriously.
By 9 years old, some kids barely have their training wheels off, but there's a girl up in Canada who's instead in training for a BMX world title. She's all of 9 years old and already a BMX pro.
As the network's Zeth Leon reports, she's set to travel to the U.S. and represent her country at the World Championships in South Carolina.
Ariel Kelly grew up in the small town of Dana, about an hour's drive east of Saskatoon. These days, you can find her training hard in Edmonton for the BMX World Championship. Kelly's journey began with her grandpa, Lowell Ruda, who taught her how to ride her grandma's old pink bike. After that, he started coaching her, and soon she was hitting the tracks in Warman and competing in her first race.
I was mesmerized at first sight, and I tried it out, I think, the next week. I found out I was really good at BMX, and I wanted to do that until I was really old.
BMX riding runs in the family. Kelly's grandmother was once a top female BMX rider in Canada after winning the title at Expo 86 in Vancouver. Kelly has been racking up medals in Saskatchewan, Quebec, and Alberta. Ruda says even though he's paying for his granddaughter to get to the United States and compete, it's her drive and ambition to be number one that's propelling her forward.
I think it's endless. I think the sky's the limit. I think she has what it takes to get to the top of this sport.
Kelly's goals in the sport are as clear as her talent on the track.
I hope to get first in the world and represent Saskatchewan and our country.
The competition takes place in May. Kelly is the youngest of 6 Saskatchewan kids taking part, and on top of winning, she says she hopes to show others how cool and fun the sport can be. Reporting for Caplin News, I'm Zeth Leon.
Miami's losing streak extends to 7 after another loss at the hands of the Phoenix Suns. Despite 26 points from Jimmy Butler and 21 from new arrival Terry Rozier, the third Phoenix stayed ahead by double digits, and Miami's defense could not stop the Suns from having 6 players in double figures. The final score was Phoenix 118, Miami 105. The 7-game losing streak is the longest in the Eric Spoelstra era. The Heat will look to rebound as they face the Sacramento Kings tomorrow.
Inter Miami was half a world away playing a friendly in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The team scored 3 goals last night, including one on a penalty kick in the 54th minute by Lionel Messi, but in the end, it just wasn't enough to beat Al Hilal. They beat Inter Miami CF by a score of 4-3. Inter Miami will stay in Saudi Arabia and face Cristiano Ronaldo and Al Nassr next Monday. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
Radcliffe Art and Design Incubator is the velocity accompanying the fellow's rudder, as in a boat. Unless there is movement or action, the planned direction is of little consequence. We encourage the creative ideas into action, and from the experience of doing, we critically assess the feedback, adjust, and set out to rediscover the potentialities of an entrepreneurial mindset.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
That's all we have for Newsbreak. I'm Aisha Ambrister.
And I'm Kenneth Bueno. We'll get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.